Okay. It's live now.
Sorry, my cat's crazy over here. Okay, so the first question is, what specific service are you providing to your community partner? And you guys both also did the restore, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, did you guys do the one on Euclid or the one in Urbandale?
Urbandale.
Okay, so I don't know. I feel like it's fair to say that we, like, volunteering there provided a ton of just, I guess, help. At least, I don't know. I feel like I did because I carried a bunch of stuff to the car, and then I volunteered the weekend after the flooding. And so it was just helping a ton of people like unload and reload and try to find things to replace the stuff they lost. So it was one of those things where it was just essentially at that point providing basic needs because they didn't have them in their own home because of all the flooding.
Yeah. I brought some stuff to donate when I've only been there once, but I brought some of those clothes that I have. Uh-oh. Where'd she go?
Oh no.
Wonder if her Wi-Fi cut out.
I'm wondering.
This happened to me when we were using this new format for a different class.
Really? Oh, I can't. Oh, there we go.
She hears your guys' voices and desperately wants to touch the screen.
Yeah, my dog's right there.
And Paige, where are your animals?
Yeah, not currently here.
Still alive.
Yeah.
Well, I guess let's go back to whatever Claire was saying, and I'll try to.
Yeah, I've only been there once. I still have to do it another time. But when I went, I brought some of those clothes that I collected and donated those.
When I was there, I did like a lot of organizing, I guess I should say. Like I went through like each aisle and like if it was out of place, put it somewhere else. The very first day we went to the door aisle and we took out like all the like cheaper ones that hadn't sold to make room for new ones, and then we put all those cheaper ones out to the front, and then they were free. Other than that, I kind of just, like I said, organized stuff, and then I cleaned. I actually outside. You know where that loading dock is, Claire? Is that where you're talking about when you help unload and stuff? I went out there and like had this nail thing and just like picked up a bunch of nails like with a magnet. So I did that, and that's about all I did. But
yeah, that's what I started doing. So, like the first day.
Did you? Okay.
Doors. I was so over doors by the end of it.
Yeah, I know. So was I.
But then I think there was one day where someone like called in or something happened, and they were like kind of looking around, and there was a ton of people in there. So I was like, I think I kind of get what's happening in the lay of the land, so I'm just going to try to help as many people as I can. And
Yeah.
that's basically just what I did. People would come up to me, ask questions, and if I didn't know them, I was like, let me find someone. But for the most part, they were just very easy, like, can you measure this? Or can I touch this? And I'm like,
Right.
yes, I can go.
Yeah. I didn't realize how busy that store was, but I feel like the whole time, like there was always somebody needing help checked out or whatever. It was kind of surprising, I guess, to me anyways.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know if you guys went after the floods, but after the floods, they got a ton of stuff in, and it was a ton of stuff out. Like, people were obviously needing to remodel their entire basements, or even like some of their kitchen appliances and stuff, or their washers and dryers. I feel like we went through so many of those that when I actually walked by there last weekend, like through the washer and dryer area, there wasn't really anything in there.
Really?
Yeah, so that was actually kind of surprising. I guess I didn't realize how many people were reliant on that as a store.
Yeah.
It definitely makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I found out like my neighbor next door, he goes to that store a lot when he's like building random stuff. I was like, I didn't realize it was like that popular.
Yeah. And then I think the next question was how many hours have we logged so far? I think, Claire, you said you only had one more like weekend to do.
Yeah.
Yep, same here. I just have one more like 4 hour shift or whatever you want to call it to do.
Yeah.
And then Paige, where are you at?
I'm complete. I finished up my hours.
Nice. Awesome. Let's see what else it wants us to chat about. Okay, so what are we learning? Joys, challenges, insights. I know I can say it's very physically demanding. I guess I didn't realize that, but like carrying doors in and out and lifting things above my head and trying to help people carry things I can't lift,
Yeah.
super hard. But I think I don't know about you guys, but for me it was like super satisfying to be able to find something when someone asks for it and then like sell it to them or like point them in the right direction because not being there for all that long, it's essentially like 2 working shifts for them. So I'm like trying to get the lay of the land and helping someone was super, super satisfying, I personally think.
Yeah. I agree with that. It was fun, like, especially when you said when you like found something that they wanted, like specifically, and they were like, "Oh yeah, this is great. This is perfect." It was cool because like I said, I didn't really know much about the store before going, so I don't know how much stuff they had.
Yeah, I think that was one of the most surprising things for me. Is I didn't realize that in the same store you have like lumber, sinks, plumbing, and refrigerators, and then you also have like carpets and flooring. And I was like, okay, why have I not been here before?
Yeah.
Right? And how they even have like they were saying I know carpet for sure, and then some of the flooring they were talking about was brand new, like if it's just overstocked from other stores. So that's pretty cool too that they have that. I mean, you can get the same thing there. It's like cheaper than at the store what they're gonna charge, or like at the regular store that they're gonna charge you for.
I wonder if they have like a partnership with Homemakers since it's just down the street.
Right? I know. I love that place.
I do.
Yeah, my boyfriend works at Redekers, so
Okay. Yeah.
same thing.
Uh-huh.
It would be really nice if they did, but I doubt that they do because Homemakers is so like so much furniture.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really expensive. I don't know how much they would charge them for to
Yeah.
pay.
Well, they have that big like sale room, so I wonder if like stuff in the sale room doesn't
Your
get sold. Sorry, my dog just dropped a toy. If it like doesn't get sold, if they like maybe give them a deal on it or something.
That would be really good to know, and I guess kind of nice. I think it would be really nice. I don't know if you guys met any people while you were there volunteering, but one of the people I met was actually putting in her sweat equity for having a new house built.
Me too. I bet it's the same lady. uh oh yeah, I think that's what they called her because I think her name was something else, but she's like, I want to be called that or something. I don't know, something weird. But yeah.
Introduced herself to me as Barb, but like I thought that was kind of cool because she got to show me some of the process of like what it takes to qualify to have a home built for you, and then it's like a minimum of 8 hours a month of sweat equity, and like 50% of it needs to be building someone else's home, and 50% of it's supposed to be somewhere else in the community, like at the restore or like some of the other things that Habitat for Humanity offers, like some of the parties or like building. What are they called? Like community builds and distractions or whatever. But I didn't actually think I'd meet someone who's having a house built for them. So I was like, okay, well, can I like see your paperwork and see like what your house is gonna look like? Also learned they don't build garages or put up fences. Like Habitat for Humanity refuses to do that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she was like they refuse to do that because they don't they build homes for you to live in, not your car. And then I don't get what the whole fence thing was about, but there was like a page and a half on why they don't build fences, and I was like, okay. But it was kind of cool. I didn't actually know what you had to like do to qualify for that.
Yeah. Well, I saw that like up at by the front desk, there was a picture of that family that I saw in the Des Moines area that had just gotten one, but that was about it.
Yeah, I I think that they do a really good job. They said that most of the people volunteering end up at the evening store. Because it's a lot. bigger.
Oh.
Retail store is also really big, so I guess, I don't know.
Yeah. I also had some other people from Mercy when I was there. Yeah. And then there was a high school kid who was doing leadership. Doing, yep, volunteer hours. Yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So I think our next question is, how is your service learning project expressing and developing your servant leadership skills? Oh, and then just make sure our faces are in the video. So I think for me, as far as like developing my servant leadership skills, I guess it kind of allowed me to not necessarily take charge, but to kind of grow on my own and figure out what I'm doing, and then be able to hang out with different people from the community. Because although it's an Urbandale, I mean, we were getting people from everywhere. The lady who was doing the sweat equity was from like, was it Perry? I think she might have been from Perry. And then she also lived in like Oskaloosa. And then there's people, especially after the flooding, that came from like all over the state, because I think the store is just in Des Moines. And so,
I think so.
yeah, so
I can't remember that list looking at it, but I think you're right. Yeah.
I mean, most of it is in Des Moines anyway. I don't think that like any big stores are out any further from maybe like Ankeny or one of the other larger cities.
I mean, like my neighbor, I live in Madrid, so it's like I think a 10, 15-minute drive to the store from my house. So I know a lot of Madrid people use that store too.
Yeah, so I think like as far as how it'll reflect in our careers, I think being able to communicate with all those people from all different walks of life, from all different parts of Iowa, is super helpful. And then just knowing that they're all from kind of socioeconomic backgrounds. Because some of them are, having their homes built because they're struggling and they need affordable housing. And then other people are just in there because they're remodeling and don't want to do it, and make it super, super expensive. And
Yeah.
so it's kind of nice to see all the different people. And I even noticed some like random acts of kindness where, especially after the flooding, people were just like buying stuff for people in front of them in line, or they bought them and left them there for whoever the next person is that needed them, because they knew that if people were going there, chances are they didn't have a ton of money to spend.
Yeah.
So I think that was kind of an eye opener for me too, just seeing how nice people were and like how willing they were to help each other out.
Yeah, I like worked at a grocery store before, so I kind of felt like I was doing that again or whatever, just like helping people out. But like also like I agree with what you said, because I did a lot of volunteering when I was in high school, and I was in a really small town. So then to come up here and do it where it's like completely different, like you said, as far as socioeconomic, but as well as culture, like it's a lot different too. Everybody was super friendly, but being able to help them, like some of the coworkers were saying that like you might not seem like you're doing a lot, but it's actually like 3 more people. It's less that they have to do, and then they're able to help the customers more. Like you said, if we don't know what we're doing or where to help them and stuff like that.
Are there any more questions, or was that it?
I think that last one we all needed to answer individually, and then it's the last question.
What was the question about? Sorry, I'm tired.
That one was, it read, how is your service learning project expressing and developing your servant leadership skills?
Okay.
And just requested that we
I was like, I knew it was about leadership, but I was like, wait, what was the question? Well, I know, like you said, I used to work in like a clothing store, so it was kind of like the same thing. And there were other volunteers when I was there, and they kind of seemed like they didn't really know what they were doing. I got there like earlier than my shift, so I was just like walking around. And then they were younger. I think they were high school students. But they kind of needed like a lot of direction and I could tell like the employees at the store were just like kind of getting like tired with them because I mean sometimes high schoolers don't like to use their brain. So a lot of them just started like following me, and I was kind of like telling them what to do. So I guess that would kind of be like leadership, because then I was serving the store, but I was also like leading like kind of like a small team.
Definitely. I'm always surprised by how many high schoolers are actually in there.
Yeah.
But I guess it makes sense because it's right in between like Urbandale High School and Valley High School, and then the one on the other side of town is in between, I don't know, like Roosevelt, Lincoln, maybe.
Yeah.
So I guess it's a good place to go. I didn't really, like I said, I didn't think about it, and I probably would have never volunteered there if it wasn't for this class, if I'm being
Yeah, I didn't know. I drive past that store all the time, and I didn't really know what it was. So I didn't know you could volunteer there.
Yeah, like when we went to go sign up and like all of the open shifts and stuff, like I didn't realize how much help that they needed really every day there besides their employees, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it just kind of goes to show that in everyday life and in tragic situations, people can use all the help they need. And if that just means volunteering a few hours of our time to help them move some doors and organize some power tools, it's really not all that hard to do. And it makes an impact not only on the employees, but then the customers who are getting better service.
Yeah.
So I think that was it for the questions. And then the only thing we really need to talk about, which we don't have to do on here, of course, is our actual project, but we can text about that or email or do whatever else we need to do because I think we still have about a week or two to complete the whole thing. And we can probably touch base on that when Claire and I get our last like couple of hours done.
Yeah, because I think next week we have another video too.
Oh yeah, I think I did see that somewhere too.
Yeah, I think next week is our, or I think it says 2 weeks from now. Let me double check. In 2 weeks, week 14, it's the final presentation. So we'll have to just have our paper done and our presentation ready to go, which I think is just another Google Hangout.
Okay.
Yep, it's just another Google Hangout, and then we base it off of, basically, from what I understand, reflect on the parts of the paper that we wrote. And I sent you guys the portions I already started.
Okay.
But again, we don't have to talk about that on here because you probably don't want to listen to us talk about that on here.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Where did you send it at, though? The paper.
The text.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
The text last night. I didn't
Okay.
yes paper because I'm not done with that first portion yet.
No, that's totally fine. Okay.
I let you guys know kind of what I started doing because I didn't realize that each person had to do a part of it, and there's 6 parts. So I just started writing from the beginning. So I was like, I guess I'll do the first 2 parts.
Yeah, that's fine. That works.
Awesome. So I will chat with you guys later. I don't know if I can hang up or what happens.
Yeah, or do you have to stop it first, Claire? Or
Yeah, I'm gonna stop it now, and then you guys can just hang out or hang up. There we go.
Perfect.